Well, not the result that anybody wanted today. Super hard fought game. Thought we started out well, better than a week ago. Thought we had kind of corrected that. There were some times where really felt like we could have kind of put the hammer down both offensively and defensively. I think things were kind of clicking there in that first half. And then I think at the end of the first half, momentum kind of started to die a little. And I think guys got complacent. I think they got comfortable. And you could just feel it. And you leave a team like Fairmont in, and they're going to keep battling. I said this earlier. I think, their team plays hard. I told their head coach before the game, they play hard. They got a plan. They're well coached. They know what they want to do, and they just kept battling their butts off. And, we have to suffer the consequences now of not being able to put a 4-quarter game together and being able to finish well. I think our guys, they want to win. We got to learn how to know what it takes to win during the week of preparation. We have a saying that it's about how we play, it's not who we play, and that goes along with looking at what the other team's record is and things of that nature. And so when you look at a team that has an 0-3 record coming in, it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of intensity, a lot of motivation to be able to overcome that and be able to know that you got to play your best still. And I don't think we did that today. And for that, that's the hurtful part that our team has to learn and that we all have to suffer here. So we've got to be better. And the great thing is, I think it's one loss in the conference. We definitely got to learn from this experience, and we can keep going, and we can still have a lot of football left to be played, and it can be very successful for us.
Coach, some discipline issues on special teams tonight, as well as the JV on Smalls taunting call. Is that something that you want to emphasize moving forward in the next week?
Yeah, every Monday we take a look at penalties with the team. Those are emphasized. Every single one is detailed out, and I'm the one that gets right up in front of the team and shows them every clip and every teaching moment, every coaching point that comes along with it. And so that certainly is going to be emphasized. When it comes to personal foul situations, things that are just foolish and uncalled for, that is not part of the game. And so that's the part that really drives you crazy as a coach. And so certainly those things are definitely going to be addressed, and amongst a lot of other things.
On the bright side, offensively, you got a lot of guys involved through the air as the passing game developed through the second half. Is that a testament to the talent you have receiving-wise through the roster?
I think so. I was talking with Coach Lindquist before the game, and I think we have a very adequate, very competent receiving core, and we feel great about a lot of those guys for sure. Obviously, we know what Josh can do, and so if we can get those two units, on the same page and continually working together and executing like they need to, then it can be very beneficial for us.
On the flip side of that coin, you had to deal with some drops today as well. Is that something that you talked to them about and trying to get that confidence back up?
Absolutely. So this week we really focused on drops, and it was complete detailed coaching points about eyes to the catch and eyes all the way to the tuck. And you got to go back to kind of some building blocks and some fundamentals that you train from day one, and we did that. And our guys bought into it. They believe in it. They know it's good for them. And unfortunately, it just kind of hit us again where there were a couple drops that were unfortunate at certain moments that kind of hurt us.
Moving forward, next week you got the Frostburg State game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the better teams in the conference is ranked high in preseason polls. Mm-hmm. How important would that be for a bounce-back victory on the road?
Yeah, I think it'd be great. It doesn't really matter who it is, to be quite honest. I think we've got to be able to bounce back, and the competition is against ourselves. We got to come into next week with so much of a better attitude towards Monday night practice. And we got to come back with so much of a better mentality of, hey, this is what it looks like to come out Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday on the big work days and keep the hammer down. And, Frostburg's great, but it's still, to us, it's week 5. This was week 4, and it's just the next one in the chain of the schedule. And so course, it'd be great to go on the road and beat Frostburg. We know that they beat us last year in the spring, and I think guys would be excited about that. But we're trying to train. The standard is our best, and it's not against an opponent necessarily. Of course, it's who you go out and display it against, but the concept is our best is what is only acceptable, and it's good enough to win. And so we're trying to achieve that, and it's a process to do that throughout the week, and then hopefully we can put that together on Saturday. So we're aiming to do that again this Saturday.
The second half there, once it got kind of in a back-and-forth game, every time they scored, you guys provided the answer, except for that last possession, kind of ran out of time. But, showing the ability to do that, how impressive was that for you guys offensively?
Yeah, I did like that part. I thought there were really good bright spots of the offense. I thought there were bright spots of all three phases. However, it's got to be for 4 quarters. It can't be a quarter here, a quarter there, a series here, a series there. Part of the message with the team at the end of the game was it's everybody collectively. It's not one side of the ball. It's not one player. It's not one position group. It's not one series, although sometimes those become more critical than others. It's everybody, every single play, every part of the game. And we've got to learn how to put 4 quarters together from a consistency standpoint. But there's always good positives. I mean, we were in a battle. It was a dogfight. And we've got to be able to try to correct some of those mistakes and some of those momentum swings earlier in the game so that we don't have to come in at the end and rely on a last 2-minute situation. And, you don't want to have to put your back up against the wall like that if you don't have to.
And defensively, outside of a couple big plays, the first half was pretty solid defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, 316 yards in the second half, and then the 4 big touchdowns. So how do you explain that kind of juxtaposition of it was going well until it wasn't?
Yeah. Obviously, I got to look at the film to see a little bit more with that. However, I think all things start with mentality. And our defense in the way that we finished out that last drive of the first half, I felt like the mentality was starting to get a little comfortable. We might have gotten a little bit tired. And, it was a long drive, and I can't remember how many plays. It felt like about 20, but, it was probably close to 15, and I'm not sure. But the mentality has got to be able to come back in after halftime to say, hey, we gave up a field goal there, but let's get back to where we were, in terms of the kind of first half in the beginning, right? And so our players got to believe, our coaches have got to infuse that into the players to be able to come out and have a great second half. And everybody's got to respond to it. And so I just don't think we did it consistently on defense to be able to do that. And we gave up a lot of big plays. That was a source of frustration for me. There's just way too many plays given up on defense that were big, and they hurt us.
And then we talked a lot about rush defense the last couple of weeks. That part of it had a good game, but on the other side of the coin, the secondary struggle.
Absolutely. Felt like a lot of 50-50 balls where, when you say 50-50 balls, it's not like we're just getting toasted in coverage. Now, some plays I felt like we did. But what I'm talking about is when the 50-50 ball is there and both the receiver and the DB, the defender has an opportunity to go after it about equally, we got to win those. And I don't think we won those like we needed to. There were too many balls that really went to them and didn't finish aggressively on the play and didn't do what we were coached to do.
And then offensively, we're able to move the ball efficiently in the passing game, but kind of took a step back with the rushing game after having a good week there last week.
Yep. It's we have some young guys up front, and I don't want to make excuses for our team. We've all got to be better. We've got to be able to find a way to run the ball, and yet there's still growing pains that come along with that. I feel very confident that we can pass the ball, and a lot of other people on our team they do too. And so we've got to make sure that we're putting together a plan that is going to put our offense in great situations all the time and be able to consistently try to find the balance that we need to be able to move the ball, to be able to put points on the board. And at the end of the day, it comes down to offensively, you got to score more points than them. Defensively, you got to hold them to less points than what they hold us to. And so it's a simple formula. It's not easy to do all the time, but everybody's got to work together in that.
Big returns called back tonight, adding on to the big kick returns you had last week. How much did that hurt on special teams? And is that something that you want to work on moving forward?
I mean, it hurts. It takes points off the board, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're blocking their tails off. So, I'm not too upset at the point that, like, we just got to execute it a little better, but, like, they're giving effort. So that's all that matters. Like, they're creating lanes. I'm just following the lanes that they're creating. We just got to clean it up a little bit.
Key play early in the game was your interception in the end zone. Take me through that play and kind of what you saw there and how big that was for you guys.
I mean, it's just film. Like, we know they like to throw little fade balls to their tall receivers and everything like that. So I just slow played it, and they tried to back shoulder it, and I was on it. I jumped it. So.
Good footwork on that interception as well.
Uh,
Like a wide receiver getting those feet in.
Yes, sir.
In the second half, kind of became a back-and-forth game. You guys were able to provide the answer every time they scored, it seemed like, until that last drive kind of ran out of time. But, how impressive for you guys to be able to do that. And then I know there's disappointment with how it ended, but
Right.
that wasn't really a question. But
Yeah, I mean, we executed. We need to execute better. That's what it comes down to. Certain situations and critical situations in a game, some of those we left out there on the field today. I'm proud of everyone. They're giving effort. We just got to clean up, the execution part of it.
it seemed like maybe you played a little bit better from behind there in the fourth quarter. Was that just added urgency, or how can you explain that?
I mean, yeah, it's added urgency because you got to score more points than the other team, obviously, but we can't put ourselves in that position. I feel like we put ourselves behind the chains a good amount in the first half and kind of stalled us there. But we really don't want to have to be in that position, but whatever the game calls for, you got to execute, and we got to do better at that.
And then take me through that final drive, kind of what was going through your mind. I know do-or-die situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were playing a little bit of prevent defense. With the little amount of time we had trying to work the sidelines, we had some timeouts, so we were looking across the middle a little bit. But we executed pretty well the first half of that drive, and then we got to about midfield and we stalled, and that just goes back to execution. I mean, we practice that every week, so.
Yeah, you ended with 310 yards passing, a lot of those coming in the second half, playing from behind as well. So were you comfortable out there playing from behind and working back to try and get back in the game? I mean,
yeah, I'm comfortable. Really at all times of the game. Obviously, you don't want to be playing from behind. I'd rather be playing with the lead and all that. But that just goes back to we can't put ourselves in that kind of hole. I mean, we're capable of, a high-power offense, be able to put up points. We just got to do that from the start.
Yeah, had to deal with some tough drops today. Do you say anything to those wide receivers or try and go back to them to get that confidence back up?
Yeah, I go right back to them. Great group of wide receivers we have here. I'm really proud of them. They've worked really hard. And, they made some really good plays tonight. But just like everyone else, everyone made some good plays and situations that we have to execute better in. That's what it comes down to, looking it in, protection-wise, all that kind of stuff. So, just execute better in critical situations.
Well, you had 11 different guys catch a pass in this game. How awesome is that for you to have so many good options?
Yeah, I mean, our roster's filled really well with skilled players, and they're really talented. And my job is to get them the ball. But it makes my job easier when I know those guys are going to go fight for the ball, and they know what they're doing out there. A lot of the guys have played before, so it's a good feeling. But as a collective effort, I feel like we just left some stuff out there on the field today.